Hello ladies, today I'm in my kitchen and I'd like to talk a little bit about why it takes all day to make your evening meal. I have heard men from as long as 20 years ago, maybe 30, saying, well, I don't know what the big deal about being a housekeeper is. I can do it in half the time my wife can do it. Or I've even heard some men say that they just didn't see why their wife couldn't go to work. After all, homemaking is easy. Housekeeping is easy. They could do it in 15 minutes. But if you are putting your heart into homemaking, which is what women like to do, is put their heart into it. We don't like to do things that are just mechanical. We don't like to just mechanically clean or sweep. We need to think about what we're doing and count our blessings. And one of the favorite things I like to do is, while I'm washing dishes, think about where they come from, whether this cup was a wedding present, where I got it, who I just served, that sort of thing. But all day long I'm thinking about how I'm going to put on my evening meal. And it starts in the beginning of the day with getting dressed, putting on my apron, and then starting to make some plans. This is my apron that I wear sometimes, and when I put my apron on, I always feel like I'm ready for business. I'm ready to get to work. It's like putting headlights on or something. It's just so motivating, and I try to match my aprons up with what I'm wearing. And when you start the beginning of the day thinking about what you've got, you go through your pantry, you go through your refrigerator, you go through and see what you have already. And then you think about how you can make these things into a meal. And if you don't have what you need, you make a list, you go to the grocery store. That's going to take some time. Then you come back and you start your preparations. You're going to have to spend some time looking through your cookbooks, if you use cookbooks, and to get the feeling for it, and start preparing the meal, putting things together so that it will be easy when it's time to really start the cooking part. And then you get your table ready, and you get your house cleaned up, and you get it so that you have a nice atmosphere to work in. And so it's not like I could clean this house in 15 minutes. Well, sure you could. In a rush and in a crisis you probably could, but where would be the heart in it? And you would start to hate it. So get your kitchen in a way that you like it, put things in it that you like, colors that you like, make it very personalized, make it your own, and then you won't mind spending a lot of time in it. And don't pay attention to people that say, well, it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to make dinner. It takes all day to make dinner if you're preparing yourself, if you're getting in the mood, if you're looking through recipe books, if you're thinking about what it's going to smell like, taste like, the kind of mood you want to create, the table setting, and the flavors. It is going to take all day, and a woman is needed at home to do this. Anybody can rush home and fix a meal real fast. Anybody can dash through the house and clean it all up in 15 minutes, but it takes real thought to put homey touches and to make it feel like a home. And a woman has to have a feeling for her home. So don't pay any attention to people who say you don't need to be a homemaker, you don't need to be a housewife, because a man can do that in 15 minutes. Well, yes, anybody can, but it takes heart to know where things go. It takes your mental abilities to figure out what you're going to do with things, where you're going to put them, and why, and how you're going to put meaning into your home. And we can talk more about that later in another video. And now I want to talk about why the graduating girls may not be saying what is really in their heart when it comes time to tell what they're going to do after graduation. They have spent quite a number of years in studies that do not mention homemaking except in a very negative way. I recall back in the 50s in school when we were told that homemaking was not a marketable skill, and that we would have to choose another skill, another thing that we were going to be besides homemaking, because homemaking didn't have, quote, marketable skills. So that began a long course of inferiority regarding homemaking. So all those years spent in public school will not result in someone who wants to be a homemaker. So many of these girls are tucking that desire away in their heart and not revealing it because it will be greatly ridiculed. We had homemaking classes in the 1950s and I loved them. They were just wonderful. But even then, people would say, people at school and even the teachers would say, well, you've got a choice between, they were called electives. That means you could choose between a homemaking class and something else, and then what you usually do is choose the one you liked the most. So the girls were choosing homemaking, but they were told it wasn't smart, it wasn't intelligent, and that they had to choose one that would be a marketable skill. So we can get into more of that later, and I really thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.